Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Yay.
Yeah, the 34th Tech Talk. And today we are going to. This is a live stream, by the way. I always forget to say this. This is a live stream. Feel free to jump in with the questions. We will try to give the answer and try to help you a little bit. We will. It's better to do it like live. You can comment later on, but it's nice to do it live. Carolina is going to take us through the process of easily installing a WordPress site, setting it up on a server, everything that's needed for it to be very public and usable. WordPress, I'm sure that all of you heard about WordPress, but let's dive just a little bit into it. So, WordPress is an open source platform that kind of allows you to easily set up a framework that helps you set up websites, web shops, etc. So it's quite popular among web developers and users and end users. So those that are using the site on an everyday basis because it's quite easy to understand and easy to use. So we are talking about the most popular framework for websites, right, Carolina?
I think it is. I'm not sure actually. You have different CMSs as well. So WordPress is a CMS that stands for is a content management system, I want to remember.
Correct. Yes, yes.
And you also have like Drupal, Drupal,
Yeah.
Joomla.
Joomla.
Um,
What
there's a
else?
couple of
Yeah.
SharePoint, perhaps. There's a couple of different ones out there.
Yeah, but like WordPress is up there. Like WordPress has
Yeah.
always been in the for the last 15 years it's been in the top 3, I think. And it's quite popular.
And there's a lot of like web agencies out there building sites in WordPress or WooCommerce for web shops for the clients as
Hmm.
well. So
Cool.
it's a
Okay.
good way of getting started.
It's a really cool way of like showcasing today how
Yeah.
easy it is to get started. So we are really looking forward on you kind of showcasing that. Take it away. You will share the
Yay.
screen. We will share the
Yeah.
screen. And okay,
Is it a
make
good
this.
size on the screen? Everybody can see it. It's also like I thought about that. A lot of in this TikTok is gonna be in Swedish on the website, but I'm gonna be translating. So hopefully for people who watch that know Swedish, it's okay. But for
Okay,
people that knows English, I think it's on English as well, this site, but I couldn't find the language translation.
okay.
So this is a web hotel. There's a lot of different web hotels out there. This is one of the web hotels that I use. So I wanted to show something different than we've been showcasing DigitalOcean a lot. But for the people that thinks like DigitalOcean is, it seems a bit complicated. It doesn't have to be. There's a lot of tech talks about DigitalOcean and how easy it is as well, but this is just a different way of doing it. So you could be using one.com, you could be using web support. I think it's previous Lupia or something like that. There's a lot of different ways to have a domain and have a server online, and this is one of the ways. So I'm gonna log into my account at web support, and we're going to do a one-click installation because that's one of the things you can do on web support. And I don't think I have the best internet access, so things might take some time.
We are
So
doing
this
it. We are doing it in a real life scenario. So
exactly. So when things go wrong, they go wrong live, and that's totally fine because that happens to everybody. So this is my account at Web Support. I have my domain, I have one website, I have 0 email accounts, I have 0 databases. And this is just like an overview of my account in Web Support. But when I want to do a one-click installation, because I have a domain and we can just look at that. This is what's on my domain at the moment. I've been trying things out, so you can see like icons doesn't work right now. So this is sort of my test domain at the moment. And you can find that here, and you can find the settings and everything. And it says that I have one website up, and that's what's showing on this domain here on the URL. But we're going to do a one-click installation of WordPress. We're going to replace what I have on my domain at the moment, and we're going to, like, in an instant, instead of me trying my code and doing something on my own, then I can just do a WordPress installation. So we're going to click on Tools. This is Verktyg is Tools, and then we have the one-click installer. And everything is going to be loading a bit here, but that's fine. And here it says install applications. So for us to do a one-click installation of WordPress, we're going to do it the Web Support way, and that's installing a new applications. We're going to click on this button here. And then here it says which website do you want to use it on. So basically, this is where you choose your own domain. You could have a lot of domains on the same web hotel. I only have one at the moment, so we're going to click on that domain. And here you can also choose on your domain what PHP version it's going to be. I don't know, like, if you have anything to say about PHP versions, Renee?
So yeah, I had some issues like just a couple of weeks ago with a friend that kind of forgot to update his site, and he was running WordPress on an older PHP version 5. So that was a big issue. And yeah, with version 7 and above, it's some things work better, and it's quite good to keep aware of those things, of these changes when
Yeah.
running a website. So it's quite cool to use services that have already pre-built uh, applications in them. Perhaps they could do it automatically for you, and WordPress kind of tries to remind you to keep all of your services like PHP or plugins updated. You get sent emails, you get sent reminders, so that doesn't happen as much anymore. For older website, it was true. Like you could be very having an old service running. But right now, with these new websites, new versions of WordPress, you get reminders, and it's really
Yeah.
hard. And you get automatic updates, so it's quite easier.
Yeah, because that's the thing when you build your own website in PHP, you have to like keep track of it yourself. But with like one of the good things with using WordPress is that you say you get a reminder that you need to update the WordPress, because WordPress updates itself as well, but also the PHP version that you have built your WordPress site on or the theme you're using. And I know that WordPress, it uses right now, it uses 7.4 or later versions. So it's not applicable for earlier versions of PHP right now. And in 2016, I know that also 100% of the WordPress was migrated to PHP 7.0. So it was a lot of work for WordPress there. But
Yeah.
we're going to go with, I have already updated my website because it had a previous version. So I have updated it to 7.4. So it's ready to go to use with WordPress. Otherwise, you can do that here, and you can choose which version you want to use, and you can just update.
It could be a thing of kind of downgrading the PHP versions because of some
Yeah,
dependencies. So you could have an older plugin that's kind of a custom-made plugin, and it works only for older versions, and it could kind of clash with the newer version of PHP. So that could be the case also. So it's good to be aware of that. But like just for the beginning, forget about it a little bit.
You are going to make mistakes like this, and it's gonna happen, and it's gonna be fine. There's a lot of that's a thankful thing as well, using a CMS that's well known. There's a lot of information out there. There's like a whole WordPress community that you can find the information. There's Facebook groups. There's a lot of, like, if you just Google how to do this in WordPress, you're gonna find a ton of material to look at.
Yeah,
So
true,
it's
so true.
that's a good thing when you're starting out. We're gonna look at, it says here, because what we're going to do is installing an application. We're gonna do WordPress. I don't know how many times we can say WordPress this time. But here it says categories. So here we can search for different applications, but we are going to click on popular applications. And here you can see two different CMSs as well. It's Joomla and Drupal. And then we have WordPress here as well. So we're going to click install. And it's going to be loading for a bit, but we are going to get a screen where we get like all the information about our WordPress installation. So we're going to see information about the database and about WordPress admin site as well. So here we get, this is the information about our WordPress site. So here you can see application information. So we have the application WordPress. It's the version 6.0.1. It's on this domain. That's my domain that we're installing it on. And then here's like the, what is it called in English, Renee? File search path.
Oh yeah, like the public available folder for it to be installed in.
Yeah, on the web hotel, so you know where you can find it. And here we also have administration. So for us, we're going to be looking at this. We're just going to click on this. So we have that in a new tab here, and we're going to look at that afterwards. Then also we get the username here, and that's admin. So I'm going to go and save that in a separate place. And now I'm going to show you all my passwords. So I'm going to replace that later. So this is the, you have to save this information in order to get it into your own WordPress site. And then we have database information here. So when we're doing a one-click installation of WordPress, we're also creating a database. So this is the name of the database, and this is the server. And then you have a password here, and we have a prefix as well. And all of this, like surrounding the database, that's going to be stored in the web hotel. So it's good also to check what password is it and save that information as well. So I've saved my username and my password here, and we're just going to close this and see if we got installation going. It's processing, and now it says OK. So now we have the installation done. I don't know how long it took, Renee. Like 1 minute, 2 minutes?
Yeah, it's really, you don't even notice it.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
So if we go on to files and file management on our web hotel, we're going to see on this domain, I have a, like I said in the beginning, this is my test domain. But in the public HTML folder, I only had like 3 files before we started. But now we're going to see a lot of files with VP, and that stands for WordPress. So you can see here we got a lot of files from WordPress, but we also got a couple of folders from WordPress as well. And we're going to look through this as well. But for now, we're gonna log on to the WordPress admin site. And this is the username and the password that we saved. So I'm just gonna copy and paste that. And let's log on to WordPress.
Yay!
Yay! So we got a WordPress installation. We got a whole website of WordPress right now. And that's pretty cool. But it takes like 1-2 minutes to get a full website.
So this is the back end. So before you showed the file manager, I put this caption on. Actually, this is true. Like this caption is like actually the back end of the WordPress where you handle the content, the plugins, etc. The before the file manager type of user interface was more of a get around the server. So you're digging directly in the server in that public folder.
And I know I thought this was a bit confusing in the beginning because when I was working with WordPress on a web agency, we always said like this is the backend. So to me, backend was like, oh, logging on to WordPress, how hard can it be? But then like, oh, there's a couple of layers here. So this is the backend of the WordPress, but then you also have the actual files in the file management. That's the actual backend where you can make the changes. And this is, we're gonna update here and see the WordPress site. Hopefully. Yeah. So here's the WordPress site, and this is the front end, but then you also have the files where you can change your front end code. So there's a couple of layers in this. But this is the back end. And here you can basically arrange and rearrange and add your content. So here you can manage your content on your website. So everything we see here on our website, this is a blog post. So I'm not sure if this is true, Renee, maybe you know, but my take on it is that WordPress from the beginning was a clean, like blog tool. Is that right?
Yeah, it was. So it was. I think like back in the 2000s, it was a bit different. The organization of the files was a bit different, and it revolved more about the posts, right?
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, in order for it to be a web page, it kind of went away and created these pages and etc. So a bit different.
I'm gonna see here if I can change the language. It was a long time ago since I was in WordPress, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see if we can change the language somewhere.
You're possibly in the right side.
Oh,
Okay, it's there.
Swedish.
Yeah. Excellent.
So we can change it English.
This is one of the beautiful things about WordPress.
Yeah.
Also, yeah. Ta-da!
Good.
You have switched it to
Everything
English.
is in English. Yay.
Yeah. So cool.
We're gonna see if it works here. No, this is still in Swedish. Yeah.
Oh, you have to refresh it probably.
Yeah.
Or yeah, I'm not sure.
But here you can find everything about your WordPress site, and as you can see, this is like a default theme that we're using right now. So when you install WordPress, you get I think it's the 3 last years of themes that you get. So WordPress makes a new theme for each year, and I'm guessing this is 2022, the theme. But if we wanted to change this appearance of our website or our blog, we can just go on to appearance. And here you can find the themes that are installed right now. So this is the one that we're using right now. It's 2022, and you can see that it's active at the moment. And you can also customize it in WordPress in the like backend admin site. You can customize it. And then you have 2 more themes that are installed that we get for free as a default. You have 2020 and you have 2021. You can have a look at them and see how they work if you want to change a theme.
Hmm.
You can also add a new theme, and that's pretty cool, I think. So if you're not happy with one of the ones that you got from the beginning, you can add a new theme and you can have a look around and see all of the themes that are out there. I think there's a lot of like themes that you can buy as well. That
Yeah,
a
it's
couple
quite
of web
easy.
agencies like makes them and sell them as well, depending
If you
on what
write,
you want.
if you go Google WordPress themes, oh my
Mm,
God, it will
it
be
is right.
is
Do we dare?
like
WordPress?
WordPress. Yeah, you're going to be wow.
Yeah.
Themes WordPress is going to be lots of, I personally use Theme Forest, but it doesn't have to, it doesn't mean that it's a good site. It's just a site that I'm like hanging on to since 2010, and I have an account there, so I use that. But what's really special about WordPress, really, it really is, and people actually, some people don't like it because of it, but you can go ahead and if you have a need for some sort of a special graphical interface that is more suitable for car repair shops, for example, you will find it as a theme, and you can
Mm,
switch it up a little bit, and it's usable. It will be good for that person. It doesn't have to be wow, very original all the time, right? For some
yeah.
big special projects, then you take on an agency and they will help you tailor it the right way. But you can
Yeah.
help yourself. You can build a good portfolio like you have with your blog. So you can
Yeah.
have a name, surname, dot something, and you can put up a generic theme bought for $5 and kind of modify a little bit for yourself. So it's
Yeah.
quite cool.
It's so like it's so easy, as you say. Like picking one theme and then just making a couple of changes, either in the WordPress admin site or in the actual files, and then you have your like your whole website. So it's
Yeah.
pretty thankful.
So to not confuse anyone, you go to any website, you buy the theme, you download it in a zip format,
Yep.
and then you go to the upload theme. You can see on the screen there, add themes,
Yep.
and right next to it, it's upload theme. You upload it using that zip format. Ta-da! You have your WordPress theme installed. So it's quite easy. It's quite easy and nice to stand out. It's an
Yeah.
easy way to stand out in the crowd by having your website in that way, made in that way.
But just to like show what we're talking about now as well, you have the actual like this is the back end of WordPress as we were saying, and this is right now the front end of the WordPress site. But you also have the actual files to all of the themes that you gotten. So you can go on, you can go into your files and you can download these ones as well. Right now they're on the web hotel, so they're up like on the server. You can also download them to your computer locally, so you can have a feel for it and look around. And then you can go into, let's have a look at the folders from WordPress. So you have VP admin, and here's the actual, I don't know like how to say it. I don't know if you have a better word for it, but I call it like the core of your
Yeah,
WordPress site because
yeah,
there's a
yeah.
couple of layers here as well. But this is basically everything that contains your specific WordPress site, if you can say it like that. So this is the core of it, VP admin, and then in VP content, here you can see languages, plugins, themes, uploads. And if we go into the themes folder, you can see the 3 themes that we got by default when we installed it. So this is the one that we're using right now. So we can click into that. And here you have the functions PHP. and here you can change a lot of the core in your theme, but then you also have a functions PHP in your VP admin folder where you can change the core of your website. This tends to get a bit confusing, but I think I also have, if we could share this link, Renee, it's, I have a link for like the file structure of WordPress.
Yeah, I'm sharing it.
Nice. So if you're feeling a bit confused and overwhelmed because there's a lot that you get with WordPress, then you can have a look at the file structure just to like understand that, oh, index.php, that's the first file that's going to be showing on your domain. And then you have templates, and you have a lot of different files. So it's a nice thing to look at the file structure just to like get your head wrapped around the file structure. So you know what
So
you're
it's shared in the chat, so everyone can click on it in the chat, or later on it will be clickable in the comments. So
nice.
And you can see it here.
That's really good. So if you click assets, oh, maybe I was looking at a different one before, 2020. So we click assets here. Here you can see the CSS of the actual like theme. So if you're happy with this theme, for instance, and you just want to like change this to red instead, then you can do it in the CSS files here.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That's super cool. And what is super cool about WordPress is actually having that option not to be scared of fiddling around in the code. For example, it was quite a scary experience for me when I first installed it. I didn't want to fiddle around on CSS and JavaScript at the time and HTML. I was like, give me a graphical interface.
Yeah.
So very cool thing about WordPress is that you have themes where you can do that in a graphical user interface in that backend that we showed before. So that is super, super cool that you can kind of join the both worlds. So you can do this if you have the experience, knowledge to do it, or you can use the more user interface guarded way of doing it that kind of protects you from rookie mistakes or breaking the site.
Yeah. And that's always like the scariest thing. You don't want to break anything. But here you can also create like child themes if you want to experiment a bit and you're not used to CSS, JavaScript, or HTML or PHP. You can just like create a child theme that you can use instead. So it's just like a duplicate of a theme, and then you can make your changes and then you can use it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I
also
always
a good
wondered
thing.
about child themes, what they are used for.
I might be explaining it like a bit too dumbed down, but there's a lot of information about child themes
Wow.
as well.
Cool. Okay, cool.
So that's a good thing. But also, as you say, like you can do a lot of things in a graphical way as well if you're not used to code. So if we can go to posts, and we can click, as a default, you get a little bit of information and content with your WordPress installation. So if we click on posts, and then the post that is posted by default, it's a hello world post. You can see here that it's, I don't know if we can show this in a good way. Yeah, but these are blocks. So I think it was in 2018 that Automatic, that has created WordPress, they presented the Gutenberg block as their default editor. And the Gutenberg blocks are a way of like enabling more people that don't know how to code, enabling them to change their website on their own in a drag drop kind of way. So with the Gutenberg editor in WordPress, you have a lot of blocks. Yeah, I don't know if I can show it right now. This seems to be... Oh, here it is. So here you have a lot of blocks that are made for you by default. So this comes with WordPress, the Gutenberg Editor. And if you're not used to be coding, then you can just drag and drop and you can use these blocks. And you can also, like if you're more used to code, you can also code your own Gutenberg blocks. So if you're gonna create a website for someone that's not that tech savvy, it might be nice to like pre-make a couple of Gutenberg blocks, and you can also hide a couple of the blocks here in case you want to make it easier for someone.
Oh, super convenient.
Yeah. Have you used Gutenberg?
Yes, I did. So there was a controversy around it a little bit, but I did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a new thing, and you have to get used to it.
And I know it was like at the web agency where I used to work, we did a lot of WordPress and WooCommerce. And when they introduced the Gutenberg blocks, we were like, how is this going to change the industry? Like, have we just erased us? Like, do people need developers anymore now? But as I said, like you can create your own Gutenberg blocks, and it's on different levels that you can make WordPress sites. So if you are a developer, then you have a lot more freedom actually. We're gonna go back here and we're gonna show as well where you can find the previous editor. So under plugins, here you can install a lot of plugins. Do you have a couple of tips, Renee, about plugins?
Yeah, you have to always be careful with plugins. Let's put it that way. So they are the most. Why am I mentioning this? Because they are the most common reason why WordPress sites break.
Yeah.
So if you'll have a broken WordPress site, like I would say 90% of the reasons are plugins. Then you have to save, you have to kind of disable it through that file manager system that Carolina has shown. You have to like manually delete a part or whole plugin from that VP content folder. You have to find that plugin and delete it, and then you will be able to enter your WordPress site. So be careful. Plugins are super convenient, but also be a bit careful when installing it. If you find yourself having 20 plugins on a very simple web page, perhaps you should like revise it a little bit.
10 too much, perhaps.
Perhaps, yes, perhaps.
So you get 2 plugins installed by default. It's the Akismet anti-spam and it's Hello Dolly. I can't really remember what these are for, actually, but they are created. You know,
anti-spam is like for stopping various bots leaving comments on your posts.
Oh, right.
So that is the main reason. And Hello Dolly, I'm really not sure.
I can't really remember what it's for. It's something with like the admin screen or something.
Perhaps.
Who knows?
Perhaps.
You can have a look at them.
You can also install, there are good things that kind of protect your WordPress site.
Yeah.
One of them is basically allowing you not to, for anyone that is trying to brute force an entry into your website, if they know that your name dot surname is name surname dot whatever slash VP admin, they go there, and if they know that the username is admin, which like in 90% of the cases it is, then they just ping and try every possible password. So there's this service called, let me just let me see just how it's called for WordPress.
So you're saying something really good here as well. When you get your WordPress site, make sure that you change the username and the password. Like I have just shown you all my passwords. So I'm going to change it, and I'm also going to change the username.
Yeah. we are always like in these live streams. I'm always sharing passwords and
Yeah.
leaving the servers open later on. I forget to turn them off. This
API
I've sent
keys.
it. So this is a good plugin. I have sent it in
Yeah.
the chat, and it's called VP failed to ban. So it means that you can set it up so that when someone tries to write to type in the wrong password 6 times in a row within a 5-minute period, that IP
Mm.
address will be blocked. And
Oh,
that
that's really
is
good.
sometimes a that is sometimes a bad thing if you have a saved password like on a browser and you just
Yeah.
use it a couple of times because you were like, oh, this works, oh, something went wrong, okay, then you can lock yourself out. But the good thing is you leave an expiry of 10 minutes
Mm.
or something like that, or an hour, and then you'll be back in, or you can enter it through the file manager system and again delete the plugin and stuff like that. But let's not mention that. It's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to have. You'll have a lot of less headaches if you
Yeah.
install this.
And I guess like also that's a thing worth mentioning. All of the plugins, if you're feeling insecure, like is this a good plugin? Should I be using this? Which one should I be using for this? Whatever you want to do, you can have a look at who has created the plugin. So this is automatic, and those are the ones behind WordPress. So I feel pretty safe having that. And this is Matt Mullenweg, and he's one of the founders of Automatic. So these two ones, perfect. They can be there if I need them. And if you want to have a look at adding a new plugin, you can just click add. And here you also can see, as we were talking about, if you're not comfortable with the Gutenberg block editor in your posts or on your website, then you can also have the classic editor. So that's a way of the WordPress community. Like when we were skeptical about Gutenberg, someone or like a lot of people created the classic editor and made sure it's still there if you want to use it.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing as well. And you can see when it's last updated, how many people have rated it, how many people are using it. You can see a lot of information about the plugins. So if you see that like this is updated 5 years ago and it's 2 people using it, maybe not that plugin. Perhaps you can find a different one for what you want to do. Do
Yeah,
we have any
it's
other tips?
so I was thinking about showing my, so this is a working WordPress site.
Mm?
Let me just like share it. This is a working WordPress site, and you can tell how much of these plugins I have. So I have the anti-spam, I have the CAPTCHA. So CAPTCHA is also used for some contact forms. So you don't want, if you have a contact form on your WordPress site, you don't want to have bots writing up stuff in it and sending and spamming your email, right? So you want to
Yeah.
have a CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA is a system that kind of lowers the possibility of a bot. A bot is an automated program that just tries to run things on your website. So it stops a bot and it asks it a question, like the famous, can you guess what traffic, pick out of these 6 pictures the traffic lights.
Ah, right.
So it forces that automated program to make a decision that would be made by a human actually.
Yeah.
And so like the whole point of it was to kind of have less spam. So we have that. I have contact form 7 using a webhook for Zapier. So you have a lot of these integrations. Contact form 7 is actually very popular. You have to like, if you install contact form 7, then you will probably install the CAPTCHA, cookie consent. So if you are using a website that is being used a lot and collects some data from the users, then you'll have to have the GDPR setting there.
Yeah.
So you have to look. But it's quite easy. You go to plugins and you just go here on add new, and you go on GDP. You write, I don't know,
Mm.
GDPR, and you'll find a lot of stuff here. So look, so you take a look at the reviews, You take a look at the number, how many installations does it have, like 1 million plus installations and a very good review. Possibly Cookie Yes is a good option for you. You click here, you install it. I think it's quite easy. So I already have it installed. Okay. So yeah, it builds up over time. So I gave kind of a recommendation to not have 20 plugins installed, but I'm kind of showcasing that I'm having 20 plugins installed here.
But
But
I
you have
think
a
it
lot of stuff.
also
Yeah.
like depends on like your like all of your websites, possibly they are going to be like growing with time. So based on your like what you need, where are you right now, you're adding things, then it might grow and you need a couple of more plugins. So that's totally fine. I
Yeah.
think a cool thing as well is that you can also build your own plugins. So if you're super tech savvy and you're a developer, you can also code your own plugins, and that might be a good thing as well. You can also, in WordPress, you can also code your own post types. So if you don't want to have a blog, you want to have like a, as you said, like a car shop. Perhaps you want to have, instead of posts, you want to have services, and then you want to have cars. So you can have multiple post types. And then you can have products, services, whatever you need to have, and you can create your own as well. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Super cool.
Yeah, I like
So
WordPress.
this,
It's easy.
I like how you got from like 0 in 40-ish minutes.
Yeah,
You have a WordPress site. So even in, I think after 15 minutes, it's a working website.
yeah,
So
and
because
that's pretty cool.
you explained a lot. So it's basically, you can do it in 15-ish minutes, 20
Yeah,
20 minutes, and it's up there. So it's
yeah.
quite easy to do. We have a lot of these cool providers that enable you to do that. And it's DigitalOcean, it's whatever. You have it and you can use it. So do it.
And then I have a couple of tips as well that I used to use before.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were creating WordPress sites or WooCommerce sites, we were using ACF. It's Advanced Custom Fields. So if you're going to be rebuilding your site, then this might be a good option. It it allows a bit more freedom when you're rebuilding it.
All
And then you
right.
also have gravity forms. You were mentioning, what is it called? 7 forms?
Contact Form 7. Yes, yes. The most
Contact
popular.
form 7,
Yeah.
yeah. And you also have gravity forms that you can use for forms or website. You have Algolia, that's an API, and it's also a WordPress plugin if you want to have like a search option. And then with Algolia, you also get like a search database, so you can rebuild that as well. A couple of these ones cost money, so like it depends on how big of a site are you going to be creating. And if you're into WordPress and you've been doing it a lot and you want to like test your wings with WordPress and PHP, you can also start with underscores.me, and here you can create a blank theme. So you can actually get all of the things in the WordPress theme, but you get like a blank theme. So you get to rebuild it, your CSS and your PHP and HTML code, but you get all of the starter files in the file structure. So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a lot of tools and services that kind of help you get around it. So
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. Shared in the chat all of the links you mentioned so that
Mm.
anyone listening can click it and use it.
Nice.
So cool. We are going to also cover in a couple of our next tech talks. We are going to cover how to install the WordPress manually. So we are also going to cover that. So we have the one-click installation, which is super useful, gets you started really fast. If you want to know a bit more about the specifics of it all, we will go through the manual installation also. When you have just a server and you want to go through the terminal and type in the things you need to type in order to get your WordPress service running. So we will also do that. So that will be a cool thing to do. Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. That's pretty much it for this Friday. I hope you kind of catched on and learned a little bit. If you did not, let us know about it in the comments or just reach out anyway. Yeah, so cool. Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks, Carolina, for hosting this very interesting tech talk today.
Thank you.
We are now versatile and experts in WordPress. Yeah,
Yay.
so cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Have a happy Friday. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye.